December 26th, 1900. Something strange was discovered by a ship making its way through the Flannan Islands in the North Atlantic. Its course was set to the lighthouse of Eilean Mor, an island located northwest of the Scotland mainland that was home to no one except for its lighthouse keepers. It was on this day that a small ship called Disappearance, captained by one James Harvey, discovered something very unusual. His mission was to relieve the lighthouse keepers stationed there. The lighthouse was manned and operated by three men: Thomas Marshall, 40, Donald William MacArthur, 28, and principal keeper James Ducat, 43. The first record that something was off on the island was on December 15th to the 16th, when the steamer SS Arctur, on a voyage from Philadelphia to Leith in Scotland, noted in its log that the light was not working in poor weather conditions. Upon investigations, light was reported to have been seen on the 7th of December, but not seen on the 8th or the 11th. It was seen on the 12th, but not seen again until the 26th. The sporadic distribution of lights raised alarm in Leith. Hesperus, its relief vessel, arrived to find no flag on the flagstaff. All the usual provisions had been left on the landing for restocking, and mysteriously, none of the three lighthouse staff was there to welcome the ship. James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald William MacArthur were nowhere to be seen. Captain Harvey attempted to reach them by blowing the ship's whistle and firing a flare, but there was no response. Joseph Moore, the relief keeper, rowed a small boat ashore and ascended the steep stairs up to the lighthouse. He sensed an overwhelming amount of foreboding as he made his way up the cliff. He discovered the entrance gate to the compound unlocked, an untouched meal on the table, beds unmade, and the clock on the wall had stopped as if some malevolent force had seized it. Further searching revealed that the lamps had been cleaned and refilled, but no sign of the three lighthouse keepers. The entire crew searched the island for any clues to the fates of the three men, but to no avail. No bodies washed ashore. Joseph Moore, reluctantly, agreed to tend to the light alone. The island was founded by an Irish saint that lived in the 7th century who built a chapel on the island. For centuries, shepherds used to bring sheep to the island to graze, but would never stay the night, in fear of the spirits believed to haunt it, malevolent spirits. Although the island seemed to be a perfect place to establish a congregation, and worshippers believed in the island's supernatural powers, it was a place that many still believe was a place of fairies. Because of its reputation and the superstition surrounding it, rituals such as circling the church on your knees were adopted by the locals. When the lighthouse was built in December 1899 to guide ships through one of the wildest parts of the North Atlantic, locals in the Flannans warned that the intrusion would unleash St. Flan's wrath. On December 28, 1900, Moore wrote, "Sir, it was with deep regret that I wish you to learn the very sad affair that has taken place here the past fortnight, namely the disappearance of my two fellow lightkeepers, Mr. Ducat and Mr. Marshall, together with the occasional keeper, Donald MacArthur, from off this island. As you're aware, the relief was made on the 26th. That day, as on other relief days, we came to anchorage on the Flannan Islands, and not seeing the lighthouse flag flying, we thought they did not perceive us coming. The steamer's horn was sounded several times, still no reply. At last, Captain Harvey deemed it prudent to lower a boat and land a man, if it was possible. I was the first to land, leaving Mr. McCormick and his men in the boat till I should return from the lighthouse. I went up, and on the coming entrance gate I found it closed. I made for entrance door leading to the kitchen and storeroom, found it also closed, and the door inside that, but the kitchen itself was open. On entering the kitchen, I looked at the fireplace and saw that the fire was not lighted for some days. I then entered the rooms in succession, found the beds empty just as they left them in the early morning. I did not take the time to search further, for I only knew too well something serious had occurred. I darted out and made for the landing. When I reached there, I informed Mr. McCormick that the place was deserted. He, with some of the men, came up a second time, so as to make sure, but unfortunately the first impression was only too true. Mr. McCormick and myself proceeded to the light room where everything was in proper order. The lamp was clean, the fountain full, blinds on the windows, etc. We left and proceeded on board the steamer. On arrival, Captain Harvey ordered me back again to the island, accompanied with Mr. MacDonald, the buoymaster, A. Campbell, and A. Lamont, who were there to duty me until timely aid should arrive. We went ashore and proceeded up to the lighthouse and lighted the light in the proper time that night and every night since. The following day we traversed the island from end to end, but still nothing to be seen to convince us how it happened. Nothing appears touched at each landing to show that they were taken from there. Ropes are all in their respective places in the shelter, just as they were left after the relief on the 7th. On the west side, it is somewhat different. We had an old box halfway up the railway for holding West Landing mooring ropes and tackle, and it has gone. Some of the ropes, it appears, got washed out of it. They lay strewn on the rocks near the crane. The crane itself is safe. The iron railings along the passage connecting railway with footpath to landing had started from their foundation and broken in several places. Also railing round crane, and handrail for making mooring rope fast for boat, is entirely carried away. Now there is nothing to give us indication that it was there that the poor men lost their lives, only that Mr. Marshall has his sea boots and oilskins. Also Mr. Ducat has his sea boots on. He had no oilskin and only a waterproof coat, and that is away. Donald MacArthur has his wearing coat left behind, which shows, as far as I know, that he went out in shirt sleeves. He never used any other coat on previous occasions, only the one I am referring to. On December 26, 1900, Captain Harvey sent a telegram to the Northern Lighthouse Board, stating, "A dreadful accident has happened at the Flannans. The 3 keepers, Ducat, Marshall, and the occasional have disappeared from the island. Fired a rocket, but as no response was made, managed to land Mor, who went up to the station but found no keepers there. The clocks were stopped, and other signs indicated that the accident must have happened about a week ago. Poor fellows, they must have been blown over the cliffs or drowned trying to secure a crane or something like that. Night coming on, we cannot wait to make something as to their fate. I have left Moore, MacDonald, Buoymaster, and 2 seamen on the island to keep the light burning until you make other arrangements. We will not return to Oban until I hear from you. I have repeated this wire to Muirhead in case you are not at home. I will remain at the telegraph office until tonight, till it closes, if you wish to wire me." An investigation was carried out by Robert Muirhead, a Northern Lighthouse Board superintendent, on December 29, 1900. He originally recruited all 3 of the missing men and knew them personally. His official report stated, "I am of the opinion that the most likely explanation of this disappearance of the men is that they all had gone down on the afternoon of Saturday, 15th of December, to the proximity of the West Landing to secure the box with the mooring ropes, etc., and that an unexpectedly large roller had come up on the island, and a large body of water going up higher than they were and coming down upon them had swept them away with resistless force." Although this is possible, this explanation has left considerable room for doubt. The lack of bodies, supposedly calm conditions with no indication of a storm, and the experience of the lighthouse keeper still hadn't been accounted for, and never would be. The Flannan Isles Eilean Mor disappearance has definitely been one of the enduring mysteries that has stayed in the public attention for quite a while. It's tragic regardless of what the cause was, what happened to the men. I know there's a lot of theories that range out there. There's everything between the giant wave theory, wind vortex, which is I guess like a tornado around the water, and even mercury poisoning. And it's really interesting because, you know, there's no bodies, no reports of a storm. You know, we have these different aspects that are kind of unaccounted for. But, you know, given that the West Landing was in pretty rough shape, it's possible that they all went out there and a giant wave came and washed them off the island. Or, you know, it's maybe something stranger even happened and there's some malevolent explanation. Regardless, thank you for watching and wish you all the best.